So why does the film work so beautifully for every minute of its runtime? Well, by the 16th minute, in terms of characterization, we have the first holy crap moment, which, due to the brains behind the script, leads to the skeleton, which supports the muscles. That is kind of a pun regarding the body horror of this film. The skeleton supporting the muscles of this movie. And that skeleton is the character interaction and personality traits that are revealed step by step, moment by moment. As I am sure the delightful Jill will agree, what we're talking about here is patterns in the walls. Not only the walls of the prison itself, the cube itself, but the prison, the walls of the minds of the characters. The patterns in the walls of the cells of the cube are actually a mimicry. They are actually a reference. They are actually a reflection of the patterns of psychology of the characters themselves. And in sci-fi, a Rorschach blot test form of the characters and their personality structure shown on the walls. This is delightful. This is delicious. And as an illustrator working mainly with black and white for decades, I caught this immediately and cheered when I first saw this combined reference to the characters and their prison in the film. It is a treat. It is a treat for the audience because the entire basis of the film is about puzzles to solve. And we are given, by dint of this meta aspect of the film, these patterns, which are also like the patterns of the psychology of the characters. We are given puzzles to solve ourselves as the characters themselves are solving puzzles, and these images on the walls, they are like glyphs representing possible intent, not only of the characters, but also, shall we say, of the people that created the cube itself to contain and punish and execute the characters. It is juicy, it is delicious, it is delightful. It is a sirloin steak, and sure as hell not some dried up little slider. By being smart enough to use this as a cinematic device, the people who made Cube have actually made the cube containing the characters become a character itself, and I find that just delightful. I mean, I have followed this film since I first saw it, and I remember watching and looking at various reviews of it and listening to certain people on the radio talk about it, and even then going to the IMDb. And there are some people who just are dim-witted enough to say, 6 characters in search of an author. Or maybe it's the Rod Serling version of that. 5 characters in search of an exit. Well, that is kind of minimalist and that's kind of reductionist because this film is its own film. And even if something has already been done before in a way that involves a certain trope or a certain plot narrative device, that doesn't mean that the film we're talking about today is any less original or deserves less respect. And no, it is not that Twilight Zone episode at all, in my not so humble opinion. You'll laugh at that, Scotty, because neither of us are that humble. But with all apologies for sounding progressive here, before we hit the 17th minute of the film, the female characters have full agency in the way that they help make sure the narrative unfolds and are given full equal weight compared to the male characters, and dare I even say more. I hear Scotty say maybe they had more agency. And this makes the tableau and scenario feel more real to me. And Scotty can bring up the puns and the names like Levin and Worth, leading to Leavenworth, and therefore, thank you, Scotty, I don't have to. Nicole, as an actress, she brings the pathos to the film, while Nikki, she brings the scientific hard bite, and, dare I say, a little bit of bile, which is lovely to see a female actress be able to be given that leeway. And I'm a little bit pissed off that Nikki has only one pick on her IMDb page. It's insulting, but we'll let that go. I mean, we all know how much of a character actor whore I am. I make no bones about it. I've said it often. So for me, these women are the gluey mainframe strands of the spider silk which help keep this story together. And I don't know or care if the tones of voice that they delivered in the film, which were so wonderful, and the delivery of lines that they gave us, which were so wonderful, came from, in quotation marks, them or the director instructing them. I don't care. The only thing that matters is that's what we, as the audience, received. And the bottom line is, these two women and their two characters are the keystones and cornerstones of the castle of this film. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I do love the guys here too, like Julian Richings, who it was also in Murdoch Mysteries, and I made no bones about loving that show and a lot of Canadian shows. And luckily for us, everybody in this movie excels at portraying their characters. And let's just face it, I love Canadians. And I love Canadian sci-fi and Canadian horror and Canadian sci-fi horror. And Canadians are frankly superb character actors, particularly in this subgenre. And all of the casts live up to that onus, that responsibility, and that legacy. But Nicole, especially. And it's almost like saying, we don't need Cronenberg to do Cronenberg. We can do this on our own, without him. And I think that is just simply tasty like fava beans and wonderful.